Okay, now I'm sure there comes a point where having something funny to say is not worth it when weighed against the fallout of actually saying the funny line. It's not worth it as opposed to what's going to happen to you if you deliver the funny line. I mean, I'm sure that point exists. I just haven't been able to discover it yet. If I think of something funny to say, even if it's just me that's going to think it's funny, I'm saying it. And then I'll worry about, the repercussions later. Whether it be getting yelled at, getting in trouble, or getting punched in the face, or going to jail, or whatever. I still think I need to say it, because if it made somebody laugh, even if it's just me, it's worth it. And this came to light many years ago. My wife and I were still dating at the time. We weren't married yet. And I was working for a local city driving city bus. And so the bus company had their Christmas party at a steakhouse here locally, and everybody get together. They're all having a good time and stuff. We're sitting around the table. Now, mind you, my wife's married to me. Okay, so she's obviously a pretty understanding person. She puts up with a lot. I mean, from the fact that I have no filter all the way to the days when she would put my head back together when it was split open from wrestling, and she'd be standing behind me putting super glue in my cuts and going like about to puke and stuff. So she's a pretty good girl, and she's a trooper. But we had just been seeing each other for a limited amount of time, and I don't think she had the full realization yet of what she was getting herself into. So given all that, we're at this Christmas dinner, and the waitress serving us that evening was very, very pretty girl. And so, we had a big group there, everybody from the bus company, and we're all chatting, having a good time. And the waitress had on a really loud tie, had a lot of colors in it. So she'd been back and forth to the table a couple times, and about the third time she came over, I said, "Wow." I said, "I really like your tie." And she looks at it, she goes, "Oh, this thing?" She goes, "Psst, I'll take it off and you can have it." And I said, "Whoa, in that case then, I really like your shirt." I thought it was funny. That was pretty funny. Now, the good thing about it was nobody else thought that was funny. The waitress just made kind of a face at me, which I expected. And even my pals from the bus company, who I thought would, be right on board with that, it was just awkward silence. Nobody really laughed. Everybody was just like, and my wife gave me this. And she wasn't my wife at the time, but, the woman who would become my wife, despite this, gave me that look. And I laughed hysterically, because I still say that's a quality fucking line. That was pretty good to come up with it right on the spot. And I can't even claim ignorance, because it's one of those things that as I was saying it, I knew I was going to get in trouble. I knew that it was probably an inappropriate thing to say, but it made me laugh. So I said it. I mean, even through the coming days and weeks where I was getting absolutely no sex, how funny it was kind of made it worth it. So, I eventually got the sex again, and I still have the memory of the funny line. So that's story for today. And I want to know, how many of you guys, do you have that filter? Do you sometimes censor yourself? If you have something to say and you think it's going to be funny, but it's like, okay, that's going to be offensive, do you tone it down, or do you just say, fuck it, and go forward with it and end up with no sex or getting punched in the face and kicked in the ribs like I do? I'm just curious if I'm the only total social miscreant out here.